Hey, this is John, and I hope this video finds you well. You know, as I go through this journey of chronicling my life and trying to improve the areas I find important, there is one area that I'm trying to work on, and I think it's something we all have challenges with and even struggle with, which I wanted to spend a few minutes and talk about. And this is the topic of being a perfectionist. You know, being a perfectionist in some cases isn't that bad, right? I mean, there's something to be said about somebody that really works hard at what they do. They're passionate about what they do. They really take pride in what they're achieving. However, the problem is that oftentimes trying to be a perfectionist leads to things like procrastination, so taking a long time and often delaying things, having a lot of anxiety, not learning the way that you should, in some cases being depressed because you feel like you're not making any progress. And this is the one thing I think we all need to be very careful about. And I wanted to offer, in addition to describing perfectionism, I wanted to offer 3 ways that we all can achieve managing being a perfectionist and actually growing more and not getting held up by that state. So first off, a little bit of background. In the last 15 years, I've worked as an employee for large multinational companies whose headquarters are in the United States. And between that and studying companies who are also based in the US, especially the technology companies that seem to be churning out really amazing innovation and products that help life to a large degree and people's lives be easier and help us get connected. Here I talk about Facebook and Google and YouTube, etc. A common theme is these companies, for the most part, there's always exceptions, but they try to foster a culture that accepts risk. They try to foster a culture that talks about the importance of action, the importance of trying, the importance of saying, if you're gonna fail, fail fast, learn, regroup, and move on. And this is, I think, something we really need to take to heart in our lives as well. For the last 3.5 years, I've been an employee for a company who's headquartered in Germany. And what I've learned and can see is that while Germans are extremely passionate about the work that they do, and they focus a tremendous amount of effort and energy on process, which helps work be more effective and help systematize the work that's being done, when it comes to creating a competitive advantage and being innovative and being agile and quick, sometimes this can get in the way. Because people who take pride in what they do try to figure out the answers to all of the questions first before taking action. And in the meantime, competitors are first to market and oftentimes have an advantage because of that. The same situation exists in our lives. When we are trying to be a perfectionist and we procrastinate, the problem is we don't give ourselves a chance to learn. All successful people will always tell you that they fell on their face many times. The difference is they weren't afraid to, because they looked at that as learning. They looked at that as another pivoting point in their journey to getting to where they want to be, and they had a relentless eye on getting work done and forging ahead. This is something I think we all need to take into our own lives. And this is something it's always easier said than done. But with this, I wanted to give an analogy. When you were little and your parent or your loved one or your guardian taught you how to ride a bicycle, did they sit there with pictures and books and magazines and sat down and showed you exactly all the things you need to do to ride a bicycle and show you videos on TV of what it means to ride a bicycle? And only when you've gone through countless hours did they actually throw you on a bike and expect you to get it right the first time? Absolutely not. And does your natural instinct when you were a toddler, when you were trying to walk, somehow make you sit down at a playground and watch everyone walk before you ever try? No. In both cases, you get up, you try, you fall on your ass, you get up, figure out what happened, you fall on your ass again, and you're constantly improving. You try, you get in the game, and you try, and you learn. And this is exactly, as simple as an attitude that it is, this is exactly something we need to apply in our lives as adults and in our professional lives, in business, etc. So all that being said, what are 3 things that we could try to look at to improve the situation on not being a perfectionist or managing the fact that we're leading our lives as perfectionists? First is kind of like what I was alluding to. Take action. Try. Know that trying is the only way you're going to learn. And from those learning experiences, you will take something away from that. It doesn't make sense to try to figure out all angles of something, whether that's a project you want to do, whether that's, like in my case, doing a YouTube channel. I'm on like my 4th video, and I realize that the more content I put out there, the more I try, the more I'm going to learn and the better I will be. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something to start with so that I can look back and see if I've improved since the last video. So taking action is one of them. The second point is a state of mind, which is that nobody is perfect, and we have to accept that. It's hard these days when we're on something like the internet and everything is available at our disposal. You see videos of people's houses, you see people's lives and how successful they are, and you see professional athletes and the fact that they're at the top of their game. But the problem is you don't see the process behind the scenes. You don't see the sweat equity and the grunt that they put in to get there, and the countless hours that they put into practicing and screwing up and learning. You just see the final product. And naturally that has a tendency for us to want to emulate them. But they're not perfect. You're not perfect. And to compare yourself to them, especially when you're starting out, is unfair, because the level of standards you're making for yourself as a junior person is not fair to compare someone who's at the top of their game and they've gone through a lot of learnings already. So the second point is just realizing that no one's perfect and accepting that. And the people who you may be looking up to and looking at as mentors also are not perfect either. The third is a point of setting deadlines. When you find yourself in a position where you are stuck and you're trying to be a perfectionist and you're looking at certain tasks as monumental, or you have a lot of anxiety about that, just set a deadline. And that deadline could be a short-term goal. It doesn't have to be the end state. When you set a deadline and you focus on meeting that deadline, you'll feel confident, more confident at least. You'll have a little bit less anxiety, and that quick win will help you in your journey of getting that product done. It has to do something about losing weight. If your goal is to lose 30 pounds, that's a lot of weight, yes. And losing 30 pounds is not going to happen overnight, nor is it going to take your ability to come up with an exact process of how to get there. And if you don't get that process right, or you want to study how other people who lost 30 pounds did it, and only when all those points are figured out will you start, that's going to cause a lot more anxiety, because days and weeks are going to go by and you haven't lost any weight. So get started. Set a deadline. Deadline number 1 is every morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do 15 push-ups, 15 pull-ups, 15 sit-ups, and then go run around the block. Is that going to get you 30 pounds lost? No. That's the starting point. Then from there, after you do that for a few days, you start to feel good. Deadline number 2, let's focus on the diet. I'll have short-term goals on my diet to scrap all the crap in my pantry of all the garbage food and go shopping and refresh that with some healthy food and start eating for 2 days, healthy meals 3 times a day. Quick wins, feeling good, building momentum, and building up your self-esteem. So I think, to recap, the 3 points of trying to take into your life and helping be managing the fact that you're a perfectionist, I think will go a long way, which is setting deadlines, realizing that nobody's perfect, and just getting in the game and take action, knowing that you're going to screw up, but the goal is to learn. These are things I'm taking into my life and trying to help build myself up, and really know that it's okay to screw up, and really look at the end state, which is I'm here to learn and I'm here to master something. Master areas of my life, improve areas of my life, but that's not going to happen without time, and it's not going to happen without failure. Anyway, I hope this video helped you on your journey to whatever it is you're going and improving yourself, and I will definitely continue to keep up and providing content that hopefully is something valuable to you. Otherwise, I wish you well, and until next time.